How's everybody today on this fine, cold, frosty day? Welcome to Q&A. Call us with questions about your diesel, 859-355-9002. What's on the agenda for today? Cats had a loss this week to Tennessee, so if our buddies in Tennessee, don't call in talking that smack today. What else is going on?
What y'all doing training this morning?
It was training this morning. It was David's day on training day. I don't think we talked about anything real technical. It was more sales-wise, so nothing on the training.
I guess, isn't it?
Well, close to it. Deer season's almost over in a lot of parts of the country. So if you got any questions about getting your buck at the last minute, you can call us on that. I don't know.
I have a question from Eric Torres at
Wade. Wait a minute, before you say that, okay. The guy that called us the other day, that last week, that wanted to know about 6th gear RPM range, that was about right. Mine 5th gear at 58 mile an hour was like 2100 RPM, something like that. So it was about
pretty close.
It was pretty close, and that's a 5-speed too.
Eric says, Wade, what's up with the Edge Insight to unlock the Cummins ECM? Brand
new. The release date on that is 2nd week of February. I didn't get to look at prices, and I'm sorry on that. I think that is going to be comparable. I know it's going to be comparable in price to the Bully Dog, but it is going to be a Insight only. There will be no tuning capabilities with it, but it does have the ECM unlock capabilities for the 13 to 16 trucks, so you can use it coupled with your EFI Live modules. It's going to be nice. You know, the good thing about it too is a lot of people have already got Insights in their truck. They're going to offer an upgrade program. I don't know the specifics on it. They're going to offer an upgrade program to where you can use the Insight to unlock your ECM going forward if you decide to do EFI Live. So that's going to be a really nice feature of it too.
And you may not know the answer to this. This is the first I've heard of it. Is the Insight that is unlockable?
No.
Is it going to be a separate part number, or
yes.
will you buy? Okay, it is.
Yeah, it's a separate part number.
And then they're maybe going to do an upgrade system later on for existing monitors.
It's a separate part number because it comes with the cord already. If you want to buy the cord, there's a part number for the cord for the unlock cable that goes out to the data link. I'll call it a data link. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. There's a separate part number for the cord that goes to the data link. You can get that if you got the older Insight, then pay the upgrade fee. I don't know the specifics on that just yet, and get the unlock capability of your Insight. So cool. That's actually going to be a really cool thing for the first part of 2017.
So Eric, I see your follow-up question there. I think we kind of answered that. If we didn't, shoot it to us again, and we'll try to cover it some more. What are your thoughts about biodiesel, just in general? Very general, vague question.
If you're trying to brew it on your own, you've got to get it clean. And sometimes too clean is too clean. The fuel loses a lot of its lubricating properties.
We probably see more harm.
We see more harm than good,
yeah.
Especially as a company that we sell so many fuel injection parts. We're directly involved with a lot of our warranties on all of our fuel injection parts, because you guys are our customers. There are far more bad than good to biodiesel, for sure.
Yeah, and the cost that you end up saving, you end up spending it in an injector or a lift pump or
pumps
something else.
Or whatever you've rigged.
So, is there a dual disc that sounds still smooth and easy operation?
You know, today's street dual disc, and let's be clear about that. Street dual disc versus competition dual disc. So we'll call a competition dual disc is a dual disc that has a lever style pressure plate. A street dual disc is a finger style pressure plate. Usually in the street dual disc, you're going to get the sprung hub clutch disc, so that's going to make it quieter. You have the dampening buttons on some of the separator plates. Depending on the manufacturer, they're doing lots of different things to quiet these things down. They put a datum on the flywheel that holds the pressure plate in, so it doesn't have that holds the separator plate in, so it doesn't have quite as much movement. Both the Lair and South Bend make a very quiet street dual disc, very quality product. They've come a long way. They really have.
I know South Bend's is the street dual for the G56. Is Valaire's titled street dual for the G56 as well, or are they call it something different?
And I apologize if the guys from Valaire are watching this. It's actually called I believe it's called a quiet dual.
You need a drink or something?
No, I'm about to die, man. It's fine. Choking. It's a quiet. I think it is marketed as a quiet dual to bring like that thing. And we can talk about competition dual disc while we're on that subject just a little bit. If you put a dual disc in your truck, you have to understand that there are things that come along with a competition dual disc. It's going to be louder. It's going to be harder to push in the pedal. You have to take the bad with the holding power of the dual disc. Turn the phone on.
Oh, yeah.
There
We
you
should
go.
probably turn the phone on. You're right.
Turn the phone on. 859-355-9002. If the microphone's too loud, just tell Adam. Move the microphone away from
I
way.
was trying not to cover your
I'm
face
just
with it
kidding.
as much. I think
They
I'm
don't
done
want
it worse.
They don't want to see my face. They don't want to see my face.
Are you trying to hide from them?
No, I want to talk about our hats.
The hats.
We're giving away two. We'll
give away both of them today.
Okay, so we're going to give away two hats today. I don't know the specifics of the giveaway today. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take one of the hats, the Kentucky blue hat. We're going to give it that's going to be a random one that Adam and I pick. Okay, we'll pick that question or collar or something. The black one is going to go to the question. Adam, you pick it.
Oh, I get to.
You got to pick who we're giving the
pick
black one to.
All right, I'll find somebody.
Actually, you know what? I'm giving away the blue one. Adam's giving away the black one. I wasn't smart enough to think on my feet there, guys.
I like comedy.
I like comedy.
All right. Let's see which one. Sorry, I lost where I was at in here. There's so many questions that have popped up. Gonna be a good day for it. LML have full delete with motor ops. Is it okay to run a daily driver on hot tunes all the time? Normal driving 95% of the time.
But it just depends on what you mean by that. And you know, did you get your tune set up for stock transmission? If you did, I would think yes. Your driving style is going to dictate what you do. What you're able to do with the tune as well. You want to drive the tune daily driver. I mean, this is just me, man. You drive the tune that you like the best, but also you should try to drive the tune that gets you the best fuel economy too, so you can save a little bit of money in your daily driving. You know, or if you don't care about it, drive it however you want to, man.
Installed a fast 150 on an 03 Cummins. Pump was pushing between 20 and 25 psi to the CP3. Fast is sending out a replacement parts to bring pressure down, but did it hurt my CP3 in the short time of running that high of psi?
Absolutely not. No, you didn't hurt anything in the barrel plungers inside of the pump at all. You didn't hurt a thing there. You know, I'm sure that Fast walked you through this. There's a few things that you can do to the spring inside of that pump to be able to bring the pressure down. If you just couldn't get it down and they're able to send you out another pump, that's great too. So, but no, over pressurizing, you haven't hurt a thing. In fact, on test bench, it runs at that pressure anyway when you're running on a test stand. So it's actually a little bit higher than that. So, haven't hurt a thing.
Can I keep my factory fuel filter in place after I add a fast 150 to my LOI?
Yes, absolutely. Most people do. Most people don't do the fuel filter delete. Most people leave the stock GM fuel filter there. It's just going to give you that much more filtration. It's really not going to cut down your flow. It's not going to cut down your flow in terms of it's not going to keep you from being at 1,000, take you from 800 horsepower to 1,000 horsepower or anything like that. Added filtration is always a good thing. Yeah, absolutely. Leave it on there if you don't mind changing it. You know, but you need to change it at a pretty regular interval too. Just because you have two filters on the Air Dog, maintaining good filtration for you, don't neglect the filter on the engine. I would suggest changing it at a pretty regular interval.
How often would you do it?
I would do it every time you change the Air Dog filters. Might as well. Yeah, you're right there. You're right there.
Okay.
One thing we do notice with and this is just a side note, one thing that we do notice on the Chevrolets with the fuel filter delete, and the water and fuel sensors on the Chevrolets are junk. Everybody knows that. If you own a Duramax, you could probably put 3 to 5 of them on in your lifetime, between stripping them out and the damn thing's going bad and so on and so forth. But we notice that the fuel filter delete, a lot of times we'll get a lot more water and fuel codes there. Is it necessarily because that there's water in that bowl? It's a low point, or it's a point of separation for sure. I don't know, but we go through sensors quite a bit, and we hear that a lot in the field.
Water meth injection kit from Snow Performance. The one with the tank, where does the tank sit on the truck? And the one without the tank, what's the difference? What's the difference? Does it work without the tank?
If you want to do the without the tank kit, let's address that first. If you decide to do the with the out tank, you're going to need to supply a tank for your methanol, or you can use, and I don't know that they suggest this or not, but you can actually plumb it into your wiper washer fluid bottle. Use plain old wiper washer fluid. They like for you to use boost juice or whatever it is that they've got because of the methanol content in it. So that being addressed, where do you put the tank if you buy a tank? Depends on which size tank you buy. They've got a couple different sizes. They've got a few different sizes. Snow does. The large tank, what we find is most of the time people have got a toolbox in their truck and they put the tank inside the toolbox and it makes for a good clean install. That's what we see most of the time, because it's a pretty good sized tank. Now the little bitty tank, the little one shot tank or whatever, however you want to consider it. Sorry, Tiger Woods. We're going to talk about Tiger Woods here in just a second. The little one shot tank, I'll call it. I think it's a half a gallon, and you can put it just about anywhere. It's small. Tiger Woods, what in the hell is the deal? I mean, I understand that Tiger Woods is potentially one of the greatest golfers of all time. Everybody probably go crazy in the comments about this. Whatever. I'm not a Tiger Woods guy. I'm just not a Tiger Woods guy. But I'm so damn tired of hearing about Tiger Woods coming back out. It's just driving me crazy. I mean, when he's playing in a tournament, hell, I'll get 9,000. Do you get them?
No, I turned those off. I don't need those.
Well, I haven't turned his off. I haven't turned mine off. I want to know what's going on in the golf world other than Tiger Woods. So if you're the guy and you're driving the damn ESPN app button, lay off Tiger Woods.
Have you had any experience repairing an 06 Cummins gauge cluster? Tack no longer works. Any tips if you have done any of these repairs?
No. I did stepper motors. We used to do stepper motors in the Chevrolet 03 and up gauge cluster is absolute trash. Again, if you're the engineer that made the 03 and up Chevrolet gauge cluster, we want to let you know that you messed that one up real bad, Jack. We used to do stepper motors all the time at the old shop. Just because we had the time to do it, we don't have the time to do it right now. I think there's a ton of videos out there on YouTube. If you can solder, get in there and give her a try. If you don't want to fix it, I think there's a lot of different avenues on purchasing remanufacturing of those, because there's quite a few cluster problems. Get out there and get yourself a new cluster. Make sure that you're getting signal to your cluster for the gauges that are bad. Make sure that you are getting signal from your crank position sensor, your cam position sensor, and that you're getting voltage from your oil pressure sensor, and so on and so forth. So do your due diligence. Make sure that you follow your trouble tree. Make sure you should be getting signal to the cluster. If you deem the cluster to be bad or stepper motors to be bad, watch a video, try it yourself, buy a remanufactured one. Good luck with that.
2012 Cummins. What's your thoughts on pushers 3.5 intercooler pipes? Any benefits of adding them? I know we don't carry pusher, but so just talking generalities about adding the intercooler pipes to a 2012 Cummins.
Streamlining the process of getting air into your engine. That's what the pusher intakes do. They look good. They're good quality stuff. Those are good guys. We've talked about bringing pusher in a couple of times, and sometimes it's just never been the right fit for us at the time. Maybe now is that. Maybe next time you turn this on, we'll have pusher intakes. Anyway. Yes, absolutely. I think it's something that you can do. Your truck, putting a different intake on. Not speaking in terms of air intakes, in terms of manifold intakes. It's not going to be a seat of the pants feel, or a seat of the pants change in horsepower that you're going to feel. However you want to say it, I botched that up. but know that it's something that's going to help you to get control of your EGTs. It's going to bring you, you're going to get a little bit quicker turbo spool up, and all these might be in small increments, but those attributes are still going to be there.
What's your thoughts on the Mishimoto elbow and charge air pipes for the 6L?
Yes.
Better MPGs or just power?
I would think both, and again, that's in a small increment. That's not going to be something that you put them on. You put them on the truck, and then you go to fill the truck up the next day, and you've gained 3 miles to the gallon. You know what I mean? You're not going to get your EGTs. You're not going to get your EGTs down by 500 degrees. You're not going to gain 50 horsepower. They're going to be small increases, but they are there, and you are going to get them.
2016 LML. Dual alternators on it already. When installing the ATS CP3 dual fuelers, is it okay to remove the secondary alternator? Will I need additional programming to remove the secondary alternator?
I just want to let Mansell Washburn know that you're exactly right. I shouldn't be looking at my phone. In fact, I'm going to turn that off. And I wasn't looking at my phone, Mansell Washburn, because I was trying to be rude. I was looking at my phone because the damn thing keeps going off, and I apologize. I should have had it on silent. Could you repeat the question? I apologize.
2016, it's got the dual alternators, LML.
Yeah.
When installing the ATS CP3 dual fuelers, I have the hardest time saying that. Is it okay to remove the secondary alternator, and will they need additional programming to accommodate the removing the alternator?
Well, I tell you what you did. You got my hat for the day because I don't know the answer to that question. Let me tell you my thoughts on it. Number one, most of the time when you've got the dual alternator set up on the Chevrolets, it's an ordered truck. If you ordered that truck with dual alternators, pretty good chance that you've also got the snowplow prep package, or you have something on that truck that is going to need the dual alternator amperage. So, that being said, you're at a point where you've got to figure out, what do you need more? Do you need the increased amperage of the second alternator, or do you need the additional fuel of the add a CP3 kit? I can't answer that question for you because I don't know what you do with your truck. As far as programming goes, it would be my thought, and from somebody from ATS that's watching this, it would be my thought that the CP3 programming and how it works in conjunction with the stock CP4, there's no change in how that's going to, and how that integration is going to be. So no, I don't think that you're going to need a programming change. But if you remove the second alternator from the truck, I do not know how that's going to affect the other electrical portions of the truck downstream. So I'm sorry that I can't answer your question correctly. But those are my thoughts on the dual alternator truck. And if it's a 16, more than likely you probably ordered it like that. I doubt that you walked on the lot and found it. If you did, it may have been ordered for somebody else. But you get my hat for the day.
So Jeff Padmos, message the Facebook page, Bub. Click off the video, get up to the top of the page, message it, and we'll get you information on the hat after the video.
Thanks, Jeff.
Best reliable Duramax engine in your opinion?
I'm an LV7 guy. Sorry. Man, I'm an LV7 guy because I feel like I think the 502 injector has got just an astronomical capability. There's arguments that can be made for that in several different ways. If you're buying a truck because you want the most reliable Duramax, LB7 has by far proven itself not to be the most reliable truck because of the amount of injector problems that we have out of 502. So we'll finish that question when we come back from this.
Yeah, turn it back up.
Thoroughbred's this way. Can help you.
Yes, sir. I ordered a couple days ago a turbo wheel.
Uh-huh.
And I also ordered a shift, like a shift kit for my transmission.
Uh-huh.
And I got one of them. I got in today, but I didn't know if they were packaged separately or if they're supposed to be together.
They'll actually be shipping from two separate locations. And here's what I'm going to do. I will get you tracking on your other product. Can you give me your last name, please, sir? back to that question. Sorry,
that
had to take a tracking
That
call
was
there.
a random tracking call that came over on the Q&A line. Sorry we had to mute it there, guys.
Which is because we don't want you calling that cat giving him a tracking number. All right, man. Okay, so if you're buying a Chevrolet in stock form, which is going to be the most reliable Chevrolet? Well, they're all good motors. They all have problems. Talking about 01 to 04 Chevrolets, you're going to have a whole lot of injector problems. But as far as an engine goes, a pretty solid engine, up to 600-700 horsepower on the rods. That's probably a little bit low, just depending on your tuning, or that's probably a little bit high. But your tuning will dictate that too. The LLYs have the same problems that the LBZs do, really. You're going to have some CP3 problems on high mileage trucks, high leak back on injectors and high mileage, so some hard start issues, so on and so forth that you have with those. LBZs, we see some split pistons in. LMMs, really, the same thing that you have in the outside of the valve cover injector motors is just about some of the same problems that you'll see. CP3s, injector high mileage, ball seal erosion, so on and so forth. The LML has been a pretty good motor. CP4 is grenading. So just that's a quick synopsis of all of them. If I'm buying a truck, what am I buying? For me, because I worked on them and I work on them a lot. I'm an LB7 guy because I can have the valve covers off of it really quick. For you guys that aren't ones that want to take valve covers off to do an injector in place, but every time you have a problem, maybe the LLY or the LBZs is a little bit better choice for you. So,
all right. Back to follow up on Jeff's. He said he did order the truck, but he did not order it with dual alternators. It just came that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Hey.
They don't. That's not a standard thing, right? That is an after package, like an additional package when you order them.
Buddy, I didn't think so. You used to have to order a Duramax with dual alternators. If 16's not standardized, I don't think. I got a feeling Jeff ordered a white Duramax or something like that, and LP5 motor, and they sent him Bob from Michigan that needed it with the snowplow prep package. Bonus, got another alternator. Woo!
Not a bad thing, Jeff.
Not a bad thing.
We're just kind of curious about that.
And I tell you, who'll be able to answer that question better is actually ATS directly. Or you can call us, and I'll facilitate that. I'd like to know the answer to it myself, Jeff. Really, I'll be glad to call them for you and figure it out. So.
We're going to skip a few, and I'm going to ask this one just because I want to hear your response to it. Josh Tackett.
No, boy.
From next door.
Yes. Ask me a question because I'm going to come over and I'm going to grab one of them damn dumbbells. I'm going to throw it right through the wall.
Why don't you give people a breakdown of what's going on right now?
Okay.
I think the watchers would like to know.
We have two gentlemen that own a company that is attached to our warehouse, and it is called Strode Station CrossFit. Is that right?
CrossFit Strode Station.
CrossFit Strode Station. Hell. But they all do the CrossFit workout, which I don't know anything about. Boys, look at me. I ain't doing any kind of workout. But these two guys, they're massive. They're massive, dude. I don't think there's much CrossFitters because I think CrossFitting is like a lot of people that do exercises to like calisthenics and it's like jazzercise or something. But these two dudes, like these guys are like weightlifters. I mean, these are like power, whatever they call this, power clean, power snatch or whatever, snatch. I don't know what I'm thinking about. So these guys are and these guys are so damn big that they don't even have necks anymore. It's just their head and their shoulders. I mean, just literally, it's a head and a shoulder, just beard and head and shoulders. So I call them no necks, the no necks. You know what I mean? Both of them. When I see them, I'm like, hey, there's the no necks. They like to pick on Wade, so. Here's their question for the day. It's probably something about my ugly ass beard.
No. Josh wants to know, he is struggling with his 5K run times. Do you have any suggestions to run faster?
Well, considering that you've got a thigh bigger around as a damn truck, I'd say it's probably hurting you getting your legs moving. I don't know. Aerodynamics.
You can try the Red Wings like when you run.
Don't run in Red Wings. I know that's a bad idea, Tackett. I can promise you. I don't know anything about calisthenics, but I know running in Red Wings is a bad trip for sure. Y'all need to get to work over there too.
All right, let's go back to truck questions. 2008 6.4 Power Stroke, full delete H&S Black Max. So. We've had that one for a while.
It's been a while.
How can I keep my EGTs down when driving the truck, towing hard on the 3 settings above stock? Sorry, I misread. he's on the third setting above the stock. I forget what that is.
So you're towing on a pretty hot level anyway. I don't necessarily know that coming down to one of the economy or the tow level is going to give you should give you better EGTs. I mean, if you're on the third level, which should be wild or whatever it used to be, you're towing on pretty hot. You're towing on a pretty hot setting, cranker back, man, and you should be right there. Sorry, I couldn't give you a better answer to that. I think that's a setup easy.
How do you feel about cold starting with ether?
I tell you, sometimes I think I should be snorting a little ether. No, just the answer is no.
How do you feel about ether? Period.
No. No,
Okay.
I'm out on it.
Just wanted to clear that up for any future questions.
But if you can't get your if you can't get your push mower started, your gasoline push mower started, you can get that bastard with a little snort of the starting fluid. Bad thing about ether, and nobody tells you this. This is what everybody doesn't know. Everybody, Here's what they don't tell you about ether. An engine's got a mind of its own. Even though it is a mechanical thing, it absolutely has no soul. It has a aura or a being or whatever it is that the hippies call it. Now you take a good motor, okay? You take a good engine. You start giving him a couple snorts of ether, and he'll get addicted to it just like a damn drug. And it doesn't matter if it's 150 degrees outside. He won't start without a little snort of ether. So you get him on it. You can't get him weaned off of it. And let me tell you guys something. If you got one that's on the ether, John Deere makes the best ether. I promise you. The John Deere starting fluid. That's the good stuff. If you're buying your starting fluid at the local 7-Eleven gas and go,
Pros and cons of traction bars.
Pros. It controls. It's hard to go from a question like that to a serious question. I'm sorry. Pros. It controls axle wrap. Absolutely. Cons. Stiffens up the ride just a little bit. You can have a breakage and it can go right through the floor plan of the truck. But that's totally a false con, or a far-fetched con.
It's definitely an outlier.
It's not. Yeah, it's an outlier. Mean, median, and mode.
Hang on, I'm trying to. Oh, there we go. 6.0
5K run times. Is that really a distance? Do people run 5 kilometers?
Yeah, that's normal. Like most races, let's do a charity race. Which I don't know why people run for charity. I would rather just give them money and sit on the couch. But
how far away is 5
about 3
kilometers?
miles. It's a little
that's
3
doable.
miles. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, that's not pull your pancreas
bad.
out of death or anything.
No, if somebody's chasing it, you can probably make it 3 miles.
I could probably
once.
make it 3 miles. Yeah.
All right, EGR delete kit on a 6.0. How long is the install and how difficult?
Depends on if you've ever done it before. If you've never done it before, you need to set aside the whole day to get it done. You guys that have done it, you could probably have the intake loosened up and the whole task accomplished. If the bolts on the up pipe don't give you too much trouble, probably knock it down in 2-3 hours. And I guarantee there's guys in the comments right now going, "Ha ha, sucker! I can do it in an hour and a half." Good for you all. Honestly, good kudos to you for being able to do it.
Keep going.
yeah, keep on doing it, man. Because I know there's some fast cats out there on it. I've seen it.
We've done this one a bunch. We'll hit it real quick, though, if you want to. Reliable power on a 6.0. 5 or 6 good, quick things to make reliable power out of it.
The Garrett Power Max Turbo. We talk about that a lot of times. The 6.0 purists, they laugh at the Power Max. But, you can do the big 3. Intake, tuner, exhaust. That gives you a good base. The Garrett Power Max is a nice drop-in turbo that's going to give you good performance gains.
The way he said reliable power, I think he's talking about more like bulletproofing it.
Yeah, and then that was my last one, was getting rid of the EGR and the easy fail stuff. You want to either delete the EGR to go with a bulletproofed EGR or an upgraded EGR cooler. Make sure that you change out your oil cooler at pretty regular intervals. If you have your delta between your oil and water, a pretty high delta between your oil and your water temperature, then you're going to want to take care of your oil cooler at that point. Kind couple of different things.
2012 Cummins been seeing a company that says they can make 500 horsepower out of your truck with any emissions on the truck.
Absolutely.
What's your opinions? Do you do the deletes or keep the emissions intact?
We were talking about this pretty strong last week. Emissions are something that we're going to have to deal with, and the good thing about DPFs, if the DPF as a component is not the answer going forward, emissions control is going to be something that we're always going to have. So we're going to have to embrace it. However you choose to embrace it. That's really what I want to say about that. The good thing about the all of the emissions systems today is they're getting more efficient as we go along. They're starting to figure it out. So tuning now has become an art form. Tuners are starting to figure out a lot of the more finite things about tuning instead of just throwing in high duration, pulling in timing, taking back timing. And mixing all of that in. Those are the simple things about it, but they're also figuring out cylinder pressures and stuff too, and how all of those things tie together, and how that ties in with the overall efficiency with the engine, and also the bigger picture of that is how that works with the emissions components. Now, the key word in that sentence was tuning. The tuners are now having the capability of getting the most out of these engines, even with the emissions on truck, with the emission components on, which makes it highly inefficient. So what did I say there and all that crap? Everything that I just said, let me tie it all together. Tuning even that is able to give you good horsepower without shortening the life of the emissions components. I feel like I literally just ran for an office. I'm not running for anything. Are you going to give your hat to anybody? You should give it to Tackett.
I might. I probably owe him a hat anyway. That's a pretty good question. All right. I'm going to start cherry picking some. We're getting a bunch of repeats and stuff. So
Always sorry, guys, if we don't read your question.
Yeah. If we don't read your question, message it to us. If you really need it, we'll get it on through the Facebook message system. So, a lot of these are follow-ups. Reliable power on a 12-valve P pump.
I don't think there's really an answer to reliable power. I think the motor itself is so daggone reliable that stock components, you're probably okay up to 700-800 horsepower.
On my 6L, I need to replace the
rotating assembly components. Sorry.
On my 6L, I need to replace the transmission pan. Should I go for the upgraded part or the stock replacement?
Upgraded, because when you're going in with upgraded pans, you're increasing the cooling capability of the component of the transmission or differential. What you do, whatever you've got, you increase the fluid level in it, so on and so forth. The nice thing about transmission pans is it's because they've got plugs on them. You can drain your transmission fluid quicker without having to zip around all the bolts and let it all leak out, get it all over you, blah 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 blah, ruin a shirt.
You all right, man? I feel like you talked yourself out in the first 30 minutes of this. The last 15 are going to drag.
I'm still thinking about how I should tie all of the emissions components in, and all the purists that are out there beating me up because of it, man. Trust me, I like a good rowdy daggone truck myself, man, but it's emissions are here to stay.
They're in some form or fashion, they're going to continue.
Yeah, it is going to continue.
All right. How time consuming and what difficulty level of fixing a leaky timing cover on an 02 Cummins?
That depends on what part of it is leaking. You don't usually get we call it the gear case. So around the motor, I had one in here last week. Damn it to hell! Around the motor, you've got a gear, or around the rotating assembly on the front of the motor. You have the gear case. I'll call it the gear case. I think it's called the gear cover. The cam and everything are inside of that little thing, and it's kind of just a little L-shaped thing. Cast. It's an inch thick. That can break, and that can cause an oil leak. You don't see that a lot on 24 valve. It's more on 12 valves because of the killer dowel pin. The front cover can also leak, and most of the time the front cover is just the plate that goes over everything. Most of the time it's the crank that's leaking, the crank seal that's leaking. We sell a crank seal kit that's got a wear sleeve. Wear sleeve goes on the crank. Then you put the new crank seal in. That will take care of most of your problems as far as leak. That's usually where your leak is coming from. So if the gear case itself is cracked, which we've seen that happen too, how much time to do it? That's probably a whole weekend job because Cam's coming out. Cam's coming out to get the gear case off. Funny story about that. Some of these old codgers, they talk about getting the cam gear off of a 12 valve to be able to do that without having to pull the cam out of it. They get it cherry hot with a daggone torch and hit it with a fire extinguisher real quick. Cam gear pop right off. That's a bad idea. So don't ever do it. So if you're watching this video and you just heard me say that,
we don't endorse that.
We don't endorse that damn method at all.
But it might work.
But I promise you, there's been some that have done
it. And if you do it, videotape it.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Don't do it.
What are your? This is a real vague one. Actually, I'm gonna skip that one. I might come back to it if we get time. But there's other ones that really need answered. 11 LML deleted. Have always had a cold start issue. Replaced all the glow plugs a few weeks ago, but I'm still getting no start at and or under 25 degrees. No codes. I would think it was cold enough for that. Even if it's plugged in, hesitates sometimes. Any suggestions?
An 11 LML that will not start the cold. That is absolutely crazy to me. All right, so a lot of different components that you need to look at there. Number one, you could definitely, and I'm sorry, I'm going to give you the worst case scenario here. You could definitely have an engine that's down on compression. You're going to want to once you have the ability to do so, you're definitely going to want to run a compression test on this engine and make sure that you've got a good engine going forward. You want to look at all the cold start components that you've got. You replace the glow plugs, okay? Are you getting power to the glow plugs? If you're not getting power to the glow plugs, why are you not getting power to the glow plugs? The truck plugged in and it's not starting, something else is going on there. I think you've got a bigger problem. He doesn't say that he's...
It's Jessica, so she's got a bigger problem.
Or she's, sorry. You've got a bigger problem than that. An 11 LML, you're just not seeing it. Check and see if you're getting power to the glow plugs first. That's your first thing. If you're not getting power to glow plugs first, then you could have a glow plug control module that's bad. But with the truck plugged in, I mean, even without much actuation of the glow plugs, it all pop right off. That question worries me. There may be something deeper there.
Jessica, if you want to work through some of those things, or if you want to give us a call,
yeah.
Or if you'll message the page, we'll follow up with you after the video so we can get a little more help on that one.
Absolutely.
9973. This was a follow up on the ether question from earlier. They're actually, I thought they were just joking, but they're actually having a lot of issues. No, they're having issues with cold starts. 9973. Can't get it started in the cold when it's only been sitting for 5 hours. Has brand new batteries and just had service to change all the filters. Plug it in regularly, still having trouble. Any tips? There's been several other tips down here since then.
Yeah.
Check glow plug module or glow plug relay. Let me read the other one too, and that way you can comment on those. If it's plugged in and still having trouble, doesn't sound like glow plugs or relay. Sounds like worn injectors is what that person commented.
Could very well be, and fuel pressure regulator is something that you always want to look at on those trucks too. Especially that will usually show itself in cold weather. Make sure you're getting power to your glow plugs. That's one of the most simple things. And don't ever forget about the intake air heater on the 7.3s. Make sure you're getting heat to the intake air heater and that it is working as well. Just dot all your I's and cross all your T's and make sure that you've done everything that you need to do to make sure that the components that are supposed to aid you in your cold start are taken care of. First part of that you did correctly by changing the batteries. Don't hit it with ether, especially cold.
You should check power to glow plugs, right?
Power to glow plugs first.
Jamie, if you want to do that, and then if that still doesn't fix it,
give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call. We'll walk through it some more with you, man. Work through the trouble tree until we find it. LLY Duramax, what do you recommend as good injector upgrades along with a CP3 upgrade?
we carry several different performance injectors. All companies are good. It's just going to depend on what that you specifically are needing for yourself, and we'll take his call and we'll talk more about it. Thoroughbreds, this is Wade. Can I help you?
Yeah, so I wanted to see if, when I get sent a tracking number for my car I ordered.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to put you on a park, and I'm going to get somebody to get you some tracking information, okay?
All right, thanks, man.
They'll be right with you, buddy. Hold on just 1 second.
All right.
What in the world is happening with your phone? Are you in the tracking queue or something?
No, I'm not in tracking queue. I don't know why it keeps coming to me. Hold on just a second.
That's not something weird there.
It's just getting so many tracking calls.
You think they're just coming through? Well, if you need help with tracking, Wade's your man today, apparently.
So talking about the otherwise, all the companies are good. DDP is a good company. Industrial Injection is a good company. S&S is a good company. I carry CP3 upgrades from all three of those companies. What is your horsepower number? We can help you with that. What is your goal horsepower? Any of those suggestions that I gave you, those three, industrial, DDP, BD is a good one. S&S is a really good company to look for some performance. So
Kyle from Flow Pro wants to know if you have his tracking number.
I don't have Kyle's tracking number, a little shifty, and the stuff that Kyle and I have been sending out, so we're trying not to leave very much of a paper trail.
Footprint.
Let me tell you guys something. If you're into records, man, a lot of you guys might not be into records, but if you're into records, go to GrooveFab.com, check out some 45 to something or another adapters or little widgets my friend Kyle from Flow Pro makes. Perfect example. Your good old Wade McGinnis. I'm going to be doing the shipping them out for you. I'll show you a little example of these little geniuses or these little things that he's got here for you. So, like I said, if you're into records, we got these little. They're like 45 adapters or an old 45 record. I don't know what they do, but they make a big record go on a little record player, or vice versa. Something about that. That's the radioactive one. We'll send you one of those if you'd like one. If you're into records. Then we got these nice shelves at GrooveFab that tell you that the record that you're wanting to, the record that you're listening to is now spinning. We got those, and we've got some nice dividers. So hit us up on the website, GrooveFab.com. Help Kyle out, get your record supplies, and good old Wade will send her right to you.
Yeah. So Kyle, we'll be waiting for our endorsement check in the mail. That's a 50% fee to Wade for his what do they call it? An artist fee? It's a talent fee.
Talent fee.
Yeah.
Pay me. My middle name is payment. Hell, I don't know. It's 3:45. We got to go. Okay. We got to go.
Yeah.
Did we answer everybody's questions today?
No, we got a ton of questions, but
man, I'm sorry if we didn't get to everybody.
Next week.
Adam's giving his hat to Tackett.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give my hat to Tackett.
And mine's going to the.
You know
guy.
what? No, mine's gonna go to.
To go to the Cold Start guy.
Yeah, it's gonna go Jamie. Jamie, you have some good questions. We'll get it to Jamie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and hey, don't forget what I said about John Deere Ether. I promise you, that's the good stuff. Ask any good truck puller. You guys, ask any good truck puller in the 3.0 class. He'll tell you if you ain't squirting John Deere Ether in it, you're just pissing your time away.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Tell them bye, Wade.
Bye, Wade.